So it's been a little while since I made a video. My gimbal broke, and it's useful to me because my hands shake. Anyone who's ever worked with me knows that my hands shake, and there's not much I can do about it. So when I now hold a phone like this and try and make a video, it's going to be wobbly. Supposedly there's a setting where I can make it less wobbly, but I'm not familiar with this setting, and I really haven't tried to find it. So, oh, Jasper's going to yell at us. There he is. What's up, buddy? You saying hello? Yeah. Say hello, buddy. You got to see the tulips blooming there. That's pretty. So anyway, I want to show the turkey shelters we bought for part of our NE SARE mitigation of Blackhead project, or research project. So basically we're going to run turkeys in these pretty awesome aluminum shelters from a company called Happy Farmer. And we'll run a control group. We'll run one group that gets oregano oil in their water, and another one that gets cayenne pepper in their feed. And then the control group, I expect heavy losses, somewhere between 50 and 90%, due to this parasite that lives in my soil. I'll probably get 50% loss in the cayenne pepper group, because that's what I've gotten historically. And then we're going to try the oregano oil in the water group, and we'll see. The idea is we're going to find the best non-pharmaceutical way for farmers that are on a small scale like mine to keep their turkeys alive, so that they have more turkeys to process at Thanksgiving, rather than putting money and time and care into birds that die because they ate a worm egg, you know, because we won't raise them in a barn or in a confinement house. So first, let me show you the shelters. So as you can see, I've assembled 2 of these guys so far. I'm going to buy a 3rd one, I think. Rather than, that's what we used last year, and we'll get to that in a minute. But that is inferior to this. So we're going to put 15 birds in here. That's plenty of space. These will be moved once or twice a day, depending on the size of the birds and how much grazing they're doing. Comes with these roosting bars, which are, you know, pretty strong. I might have to reinforce them a little once we get, you know, 5 or 6 chunky turkeys on there. But one of the coolest parts is these wheels. So on the other one, and I'll show you, I gave up on using wheels and I just drug it bodily across the ground. But I did build axles onto the back of it to hold wheels. But for this one, you just pull this handle. So you can see wheels sitting on the ground, but there's only, I don't know, very little clearance there. The shelter's essentially sitting on the ground. But you pull up on this handle, very easy. Didn't take really any effort at all. And now we're up off the ground, I don't know, a good 4 or 5 inches. If I did that on the other side, it would pop up easily, and then you just come over here, grab the handle, and I'm putting no effort here, and I'm getting that thing right off the ground. So it would be super easy and effortless. Those wheels are positioned in such a spot that they distribute the weight nicely. The only other additional weight on this thing would be a feeder hanging from the ridgepole, and then a waterer, a bell waterer hanging from the ridgepole, and then this guy here gets bolted to the frame, and that holds I think a 5-gallon water tank. So that's going to go right in here somewhere. We can fill the water from outside, gravity fed through a bell waterer, and turkey chores have now become effortless. Very, very low time consumption. More time to focus on checking out your birds, especially when you're like me and you have another job, right? So now you can spend less time crawling in there and walking in turkey poop before work and all the other hassles, right? And then your birds have constant access to water and feed. You're clean. You can check the birds out through this mesh. This is welded aluminum wire. That is, I mean, it's going to last forever. At least 5-10 years, as long as you take care of it. So, pretty awesome shelter. Now let me show you what I was using last year. Last year I used this dog kennel that I simply screwed down to a pressure treated 2x4 frame I built for it. And then I tried rigging up with these wheelbarrow wheel holders there, or axle holders, through a little bolt through there, and I tried using this, and I'd put a wheel on this and use it as an axle. But that was, I mean, there's just not enough rigidity there. That flops around. Pain in the butt, right? This thing's heavy to lift by that bolt. And then I left this in and around my cows. And the cows, they just don't care. So they came in here with their cow heads and smashed it all down. You know, it was a cheap constructed thing. Wasn't really cheap. Yeah, I guess it was cheap, but it wasn't inexpensive. So I'm still going to use this. I just don't know what for. Maybe like a mobile chicken coop or something that I can drag around with my Kubota or my lawnmower. But I think I'm going to buy another purpose-built shelter for the turkeys and just have 3 of them matching. The other problem with this is it's held together with zip ties, right? So I just zip tie all this metal onto these poles, and they degrade in the sunlight, and then you come out here and your wire's just flopping around with a bunch of busted zip ties. So not ideal. It's flimsy. Again, it was a relatively inexpensive dog kennel that I bought off Amazon. It served its purpose for 2 years, but it's time to do something a little more professional.